At this time of the year, where a little bit more love and magic and sharing and giving seems to be present in the heart of so many, we have what we call our Christmas wish. The charity started off the back of this Christmas wish, and so it's something that we embrace with a lot of love and excitement every year. Many years ago, a decade ago now, I was in the village where we built the children's village, and I was watching children go into the ditch to get rubbish to make their own toys, and some of them would get injured, they would get cut, it was dirty in there. And I made the decision back then that I would try to bring Christmas to those children. I would try to tap into this energy of love and giving that we have at this time. And in doing so, provide them with a book to learn to read, a pen and paper to learn to write, and some toys so they no longer had to make their own from the rubbish in the ditch. This was a huge success, and on New Year's Day I converted that page and started asking people if they could support the children to get out of child labour and into school, full-time education. Since then, we've continued, as this was the birth of any social media presence for our family, the vision that we have, the work that we do, and our charity. By now, that initial Facebook page has transformed into us building a village, having a family of nearly 200 children, and bringing Christmas to those children is for us a magical time, a chance to let them have something special. A new Christmas outfit, a new book to read, a day out perhaps, for children who need it a little more. For a year ago, some of these children who were in our family were literally tied up in the dark, being abused and being harmed. Some of them were homeless on the streets, struggling to survive, to get food. This is, for some of those children, the very first experience of a family unity, sharing love and celebrating life with gratitude they will have ever had. And so to make this possible, we have a Christmas wish page, and I just wanted to do this little introduction and to tell you all that that page is live on the website. And if you follow the link at the bottom of the screen, you'll be able to check out if there's anything you want to do, if there's anything you'd like to do in the realm of spreading awareness, fundraising, or sharing with a child so they can have Christmas this year. All the information will be there. Thank you for all of the love and support throughout the year. But this magical time where there's a little bit more love and giving, we always have this event taking place. Thank you for the love and support. God bless. Bye. As you can see, I am no longer in Tanzania. And today, in this magical setting, my sons are sledging on a hill behind me, and I am keen to go and create some memories with them. But as I leave Tanzania, I'm left with an overwhelming want to remind you all, to share with you all, how it is in the life of this human sitting here talking, that all of these magical and wondrous and compassionate things, creations, events, are occurring, are taking place. We have the vision of building for compassion for those in need here, a service to humanity. And as you do that, there is pushback, for as you shine a light in the dark does not necessarily go willingly. It does not walk away without a struggle. And yet, many of us have lost our connection to the truth. And I want to use this video to show you who you are, to remind you who you are. For in the life of this human sitting here talking, without that reminder every single day, I too can descend into the illusion of what I am not. and we must awaken from that illusion. The descent is away from the living God, the awakened state, the presence of the superconsciousness, the eternal now, the vibrance, vitality, and peace and joy of life found only in this moment. And the descent away from that is the descent into the fallen nature, as it were, but into our thought-based self, into the maze of the mind. And there we begin to live out the illusion of the simulation as base reality. We believe that this is the ultimate reality, and yet there is a connection deep beyond it that we must all access, and every spiritual teacher, every Messiah, every enlightened master or guru has tried to liberate humanity from believing the simulation to be their home. Every, without any fail, have they tried to awaken you from the illusion of the simulation. If we are to discover who we are, and we must, for when we discover who we are, the divine will, the power of the Creator, can move with freedom in the vessel and organism that you are, through the soul connection to it. If, however, we don't realize who we are, the generous heart of God that pours forth all things, and has poured forth you and I, will become diluted and refracted by our thoughts, which are the conditioner and the rule maker of the power of spirit in this reality. Our mind has great power to capture the essence of spirit that we are, the soul awareness that we are, and contract it into a weakened state. And freedom from this illusion is non-negotiable. To live the supernatural life that God has for you, that Creator has for you. If I were to take the example of a baby, my daughter is a few months old, and it's very evident she is nothing but lovingly aware predominantly of her surroundings. If I take a baby and I take a tree seedling and I allow them to grow together silently in a time lapse, and you are watching the two grow together, it is evident that no thought is causing the growth. It is evident that the generous heart of God, which in its ultimate givingness and sharing nature pours forth all of creation, including infinite potential and free will, which is why not all of the creation pouring forth from the generous heart gets the vote of our Creator. But it is evident that as the child grows and the tree grows, the same expansive force of creation is moving in both. And you cannot determine between the two which one is being grown by nature and the God force within it, and which one is not, for both are growing in a silent time-lapse by an invisible force which is the will of our Creator moving in this reality. As the baby grows, you will see that it is lovingly aware of its surroundings. Our children are like that. And yet somehow, as the child grows, they lose track of this state of consciousness, and to be lovingly aware in a state of absolute trust and faith, as a baby is to be in an absolute presence of the living God. A unity with all things, no determination of self and other. A baby does not know where they end and you begin. And so here we have the child growing, and all of a sudden we tell them, you are a name, you are a nationality, you are a brother or a sister, an identity based in relationship. If the child is raised well, they can remain in the same manner they are aware of their surroundings lovingly aware that these labels based in thought are an organization system for us to stay grounded and connected to our fellow family members for our survival. Our memory is important, to know who your protector is, to know what food you should eat, where your dwelling is. It's a very important gift. However, if you remain lovingly aware of all of these notions, thoughts and memories, you stay rooted as the baby is in the presence of the living God. But if you are not taught how to stay aware of the thoughts and memories, which we predominantly are not, and education actually leads us away from being aware of them, the awareness you are can enter into thought and begin to believe that the thoughts that are coming up inside the mind are it. The awareness that you were as a loving awareness baby who's simply joyfully aware of its surroundings is the same awareness today that is aware that you are a name, a nationality, a father, a brother, and also at the same time aware of your surroundings. To the degree you can be in beingness, that awareness is the degree to which you have the relationship with the supernatural, the living God, the present moment superconsciousness of our Creator. If you descend into thought, if we believe that we are the nationality, if that thought becomes so potent and our awareness loses track of reality and falls into the realm of thought, we even lose awareness of reality. For what happens is that as you look around you, instead of merely being lovingly aware of the forest and the snow and the trees and the plants, etc., you begin to try to control it, organize it, and label it. And this creates separation. That separation results in we as humans not having a relationship with the living God, but with thoughts and images about not only our reality, but about ourself and what we are, and also, due to religion, about God. Instead of awakening into the presence of the living God, where we have a transformation of what we are into a compassionate being through the unity that is felt in that moment, we are beginning our life to have relationships with thoughts and images in our mind. So instead of relating with reality, when someone says forest, you see an image of forest in your mind and the word, and you leave it there. And the connection spiritually, energetically with the forest, where it can talk to you and you to it, is absent when you relate to it through thought. Likewise with God, when I try to mention that the teachings of Christ are undoubtedly the most compassionate teaching I've seen with no impurities, many feel that I am saying the only way is to have a relationship with the image they hold of Yeshua in their mind, as if there is some Yeshua-shaped hole in reality that is surrounded with all this religious symbology, etc., and religious tradition, and if you simply follow those traditions and jump through that hole that is shaped like Jesus, you will therefore find your way to the Creator. But the reality is you must consume the very teachings in their entirety, for there we awaken to the presence of the living God. And what is happening is that many people don't have the supernatural with them. It's not born in their cells, because they are relating to the teacher, and the message that is supposed to set them free is secondary to the symbology. So we relate to the image in our thought of the teacher and the religious symbology. And the teaching that would have you step beyond all of that and allow your vessel to be humbled before the Creator, the Christ, before the will of the superconsciousness and say, your will is definitely wiser than my own. Your will is definitely more powerful than my own. It is more intelligent and organized than my own, and therefore, if it wishes to speak, if it wishes to make a movement inside the shape that I was formerly identifying with as merely a nationality and a personal history and this collection of memories and the image I'm forming on top of that, then I allow your will to animate the intelligence, actions and speech of the human organism sitting here, formerly identified with as even a Christian, an Englishman, a father, a brother, etc., an academic achievement, a doctor, a bus driver. All of these labels, you put all of them down and allow the will of the Creator to animate the body. And Yeshua agreed. Yeshua fully agreed. This is why he said, unless you hate your mother and your father and your brother and your sister, you cannot be my disciple. Hate is a strong word, but the reality is, if the living God has a task for you here and now, there's a space of consciousness where you, as a personal history and meanness, and the most core fundamental foundations of that can be relationship and family. The state of consciousness where the living God's will lives through your organism, through the shape and form and soul that you are, is unrefracted by the personal history and meanness. But if the attachment to the relationship identity steps in, it will derail the will of the living God. For you will choose, if it says go here, you will choose your attachment to the relationship identity and say, no, I will not. And there you do not choose the supernatural path that God has in store for you. This is why he says you must hate them. And so here we start to untangle what we are not to what we are. If you take a tree and the baby, and I put a memory system inside the tree, and give it experiences, and allow it to have the ability to create an image of self as we have, does it mean that there is a person inside the tree? Is there a person in that tree, or is it still just a tree among many that is growing in the same manner the planet forested a forest, it rivered a river, mountain mountains, it humaned humans, it mammaled mammals, and it sentienced sentience through these creations, meaning sentient life. All of this unified one movement that took place in the forests bursting forth from the seed is still there. Even if I add memories and image building capacity inside the tree, it's still there. The unity of all things growing is still present. You are the same. There is not a person in the tree if you put memory there and personal history and an image to create a self from thought. All of that exists only as data cycling around inside the system, the brain, or be it a computer chip or whatever it is, and that data can't be held by the living God here and now, nor can it be held by you. And in the same manner inside you as a child, the systems of memory and self-image, etc., conjured an image of what you are, but are not real. They are an illusion, part of the simulated illusion. You are not thoughts and memories. Where are they? Can you hold them in the crisp cold of this moment? Can you use them to serve the living God? It can't be done, for they exist purely in the realm of thought and memory. And thought and memory is purely self-driven, self-will, self-created. It's not the broader creation's road. And the broader creation, for us to connect with it, and with it walk by faith and not by sight, is to step out of the thought-based us, to step free of the personal history driving the movement of your life here and now, and allowing the superconsciousness, the living God, and its divine will to determine the direction that you go. And there your vessel becomes a servant to the Most High, untainted by the will of self and its wants and its traumas and its desires and its plans and its analysis. You move by pure faith, and it comes from an internal place. It's from the heart space, in a sense, not that your heart guides you, but it comes internally. The living God's divine will moves through us, awakens in ourselves, and away we go following its will. We don't challenge that message as it comes in. We don't say, no, I can't do that because of this. We allow its will to be the God of our situation. So when it says go here, you go in absolute faith. You don't say, I'm not going there because I don't have money, and make money the God of your situation. You follow in the blind faith of the divine will. This is what it is for God so guides the humble, to enter at least a fleeting space of consciousness that is humble. A vessel empty of a self-determined will and yielded to the will of its Creator, the magnificent, compassionate Creator. And so you have picked up a lot of baggage, a lot. And the simulation, the fallen elements of our reality which are here, it relies on you believing that you are your personal history, and that determining the movement of your life in this moment. With the presence of the living God is unable to be heard if you are living from self-predetermined will and analysis. You have to be lovingly aware so that you relax and your energy field connects and harmonizes with all that is, and there the Creator and the angelic speak. They speak to you, for you have died, and that which speaks is Creator Christ, and Christ was born. For I have died, and he is born in my place, as the Apostle Paul said. The Creator's will is born in the place whereby there was a meanness. You must continue to live and breathe and love and learn, and yet at the same time be completely dead. And the death is the illusion of the meanness in thought. It's filled with the soils that gives birth to pride, arrogance and selfishness, you see. And so you've taken all of these identity labels. You've taken that you are a nationality, an Englishman, American, a Tanzanian, a Ghanaian, whatever it's going to be. You've taken your name, you've taken your relationship, and all I am sharing here is that you should become lovingly aware of all of those labels in thought. And when you become aware of them, you realize that they are passing labels in the same way the seasons are passing. The pulse of God's generous heart, contracting, expanding, contracting, expanding. Your labels are the same. So simply place your name down and be aware. There's my name. I'm aware my name is there. Put your nationality down. I'm aware my nationality is there, but I don't need it right now. And you lighten yourself. Put down your relationships. I'm aware that I'm a son and a father and a brother and a husband, or whatever it may be for you, a wife, a daughter. I'm aware, but I've put them down, and they are here, and I am aware they are here, but I remain aware of them. My career path, my labels as a career entity, as it were, director, a founder, a driver, a shopkeeper, a nurse, a caregiver. I put those down for now, for those change, and I'm aware of them. I'm aware what I am labeled right now, but they change, as do the seasons. I know I could be something different in 20 years to that label. So you take the label, and you're putting down this identity that wishes to connect you to the world as your ultimate reality. And as Yeshua said, you must overcome the world, of course. So as you put these labels down, and you put down your scientific labels, I'm a human being, put that down. This is a concept, a word that points at the shape of the mystery that we are. Let's put it down. And as you put them all down and you look and you say, okay, I've placed them down and there's some freedom here, Who is the one that is aware of the instruction to put them down and aware that it put them down? Who is that one that's aware? It's the same awareness that was in you as a baby, and it's the same awareness now, and it's never changed. And as Yeshua said, unless you become as children, you may not enter the kingdom. Let the children come, for the kingdom belongs to such as these. If you put everything down and return to being merely lovingly aware, vulnerably lovingly aware to all that is, in the same way a baby is, you enter ultimate faith. And there, in that open-hearted space, the divine will reach you. It will reach you. But this is conditional, that you've gone through the process, of course, of resetting that which grieves, we can call it, the living God. You've placed everything down. You're aware you've put it down. What is that awareness? Who is that awareness that's aware? If it's not your name and nationality and your personal history and all of these things you've laid down. The same awareness was there as a baby before it had a personal history. And the awareness is there again. It's unchanging. It's unshifting. It's the ultimate truth of the rebirth. It's the ultimate truth of what and who you are. The I am that I am. The I am is the action of the awareness that puts it down. Who's putting that on the ground? I am. There's no other way to label it with language, for it's beyond language. It's not linear. It's timeless. It's eternal. You are in that state of being free of the self, free of time. You are in eternity. You are moving as a being of humanity, but you are now connecting to the greater reality. Not the core reality is this one. When you begin to liberate in that sense, memories will come of pleasure, images of pleasure in the future, and you will run from the solidified unity with your Creator in this moment to those pleasures. Unless you become aware that the brain is doing that, and the pursuit of them is not who you are. It is an organ out of control, likely, arguably hijacked by those beings that do not want you in the presence of the living God and want you to be contracted, where you will generate certain frequencies of suffering that they feed on. As you reach there, your body's discomfort, maybe it's addicted to things, you will have to therefore go through, before you reach this sweet place of unity and love I speak of, a bit of a tumultuous time as you reset the body through fasting, as you watch your addictions through meditation, and as you begin to settle down a lifetime of living in the sin matrix, in the simulation as home, and therefore what's the point in any of it? Let me just chase after the things that feel good to my five senses. And you reset all of that, and as you reset, you harmonically attune with the center point again, which is the presence and the love and the unity with the living God. For there you finally pass, and what we do is we try to take the personal history, the personal me on that journey. But it is the reason that the journey would exist. For if it is not there, you would know the presence. So you can't take this personal history and make it spiritually awakened. It has to go to sleep, it has to crumble, take a knee, before the ultimate superconsciousness that is waiting to drag you by the very heart of a man into its will and its way in faith. And if you sense this and you say, something is here, I feel it, and then you say, now what do I do? The one asking what to do is the structure of a self, of a meanness in thought, which is in the way of the realization of who you truly are, the I amness. And if you say, yes, I see it, now what? There it goes again, trying to control the process of its own creation when it never had control over it. And if it moves back to faith, as the baby has faith, its body will grow. And the tree has faith, its body will grow. Then it's akin to holding on to the bottom of a river. And as the river is flowing, everyone clings to the bottom in fear, saying, "You can't trust this river of life. We might die, we will all die. We might get hurt, we will all be hurt." And so you cling to the bottom of the river by clinging to an identity, by clinging to a need to control it, by saying, "I am a nationality and my analysis will keep me safe throughout all of this," not faith in a divine will and love that is here with us now. And for those who say enough is enough and let go of the bottom of the river and allow the current of the Creator's will, the divine will, to pick them up and carry them, they will live the supernatural life. For they will walk in faith blindly, trusting that that current, even if it hits them off a rock or two, has a plan for it, has a plan for the human organism and soul that it is, and formally identified with as personal history, memories, nationality, name, relationship. And yet all of these were merely labels that the awareness became lost in. For the awareness is who we always were, and the awareness is the child of God that you are. So let go of the bottom, let it take you by being lovingly aware of all that occurs. You will walk in the humility whereby Creator can use your body and shape for its will and its purpose, and it will not be refracted, conditioned or interfered with by the mind. This is freedom from the simulation, and this is what humanity desperately needs at this time, for in it there is no war or conflict, only compassion and unity. I'll go. I wish to play on the sledge with my children. God bless, guys. I love you all.